Hi, do you struggle with weight loss? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. And it only gets better from here. Because the first thing I'm going to highly recommend you do is stop dieting. I had to learn this the hard way myself. But when I did realize that dieting was not the answer, and I put God first, one of the effects of doing so was I started losing weight. Isn't that crazy? Well, let me tell you a little bit about my backstory. I, as a baby, was almost 10 pounds. My dad used to like to exaggerate and say I was 13 pounds until I got a hold of my birth certificate and verified I was slightly less than 10. But as a child, whether I was a toddler and then into, pre-kindergarten, and throughout my entire childhood, I was always chubby. So much so that back then, we didn't have a husky department. So my grandmother would sew me the most beautiful dresses because I couldn't find clothes that would fit in the normal kids department. Sad but true. And nowadays, you see husky departments everywhere in the department stores. Or they don't call it the husky department. I think years ago one of the stores did. But it's just there are more sizes readily available. Anyway, off on that tangent, back to what my story was. In high school, I progressively gained weight, and by the time I graduated high school, and I think I was almost 19 or 19 at the time, I was at the gym and I got on a digital scale and I was 229 and a half pounds. Yes, to my dismay, that was my heaviest that I remember. And back then, I did diet and I starved myself and I begrudgingly would work out and I would lose some weight. And then when I went off the diet or I had a free day, one free day turned into 2 free days and so on and so forth. And so then I went off the diet completely and I ended up gaining the 20 pounds or however much I lost. And typically back in my youth, I would lose a good 20 pounds and that was it. And I think at the most, I lost 30 through dieting. But again, I would always gain. Not ever, I didn't ever get back to that 229 and a half pound weight, but I would fluctuate in the 200s, low 200s, to the, 190s. So fast forward to 2009, and around at that time, I was 190 pounds approximately, give or take a few pounds. And I was not seeking God in meditation. It was more so I would read my Bible periodically and I would also pray. And my prayers were typically in the morning and at night, or sometimes just once a day before I went to bed. And I also was going through a lot of transitions and entering a new relationship. And through that relationship, I started seeking God more because I wanted to show up better than how I was in that relationship because I wasn't very comfortable in it, to say the least. But it pushed me to seek God. And I didn't know anything about unconditional love. And so I sought different avenues. And one of the places that I immediately dived into, well, I say dive like I was like all in. Yeah, no, because I was the type of person that could not meditate for more than 30 seconds at a time. And meditation, I'd always heard about it, but never really was diligent about setting an established time and a daily habit of contemplating and spending quiet time with God. And I went to go see an intuitive healer, and she recommended a certain a certain meditation for me. And so that was really when it started becoming easier for me. But prior to that meditation, I was meditating on my own, listening to meditative music for, minutes at a time. And then I did work up to about 30 minutes. But again, it was never easy for me to do so. But my whole point in sharing all this stuff about meditation is that weight started falling off of me. And it could have been because I was in an uncomfortable relationship, but no, I would eat normally. I wasn't dieting. I wasn't really exercising consistently. If anything, I would go for a walk periodically, and maybe if I felt the urge, I would put in a workout video, but it was rare. I couldn't even tell you the consistency because it wasn't consistent at all. So I don't even really say that I exercised regularly at all because I didn't. And I ended up losing 30 pounds throughout the time of me seeking God and eating. I was eating Taco Bell, fast foods of all kinds, junk foods of all kinds, desserts, you name it. And I lost weight. And because I let go of the whole not worried about my weight. My weight was not my focus. And really that's what's key, is shifting focus off of your weight and loving and accepting yourself exactly as you are. And as you seek God in prayer, in reading the Bible, if you are a Christian or and you follow Yeshua, because I certainly do, I love Yeshua, or reading another book that helps you deepen in your spiritual walk, that doesn't matter. But what does matter is adding meditation. Because when we are quiet is when we tap in to Holy Spirit within us, which is also called our intuition, our higher self. That is an internal connection that we all have with God, our Creator. And whether we believe in God or not doesn't take away this innate ability that each one of us have as connected. How do I want to articulate this? We are all connected to our source. We are all from the same source, which is God. We can call it universe, we can call it spirit, but we are all connected. And when we're here, we grow separate. And whether we believe in this ideology or not doesn't make it more or less so. Now that I got that out, so that meditation is really what enabled me to begin to let go of the judgment about myself, about my looks, about how much it said on the scale. And I was eating what I wanted, and I easily lost 30 pounds. Like, really, it was not a conscious effort on my part whatsoever. And that happened over the course of probably 2 years, maybe 3, but no, I think about 2 years, it fell off. And as I progressed in my spiritual walk and my vibration started rising higher, I naturally was attracted to different foods that were better for me. I learned that our body is the temple that houses our spirit. And I wanted to be better to it. And I looked at it from that perspective. And that was in all aspects of my life. And gradually, I would eat more vegetables, I would eat more fruits. I still ate the junk food, but I wanted to be more mindful about getting nutrients in my body that it needed. And then I started paying attention to preservatives, and because so much of our processed food has stuff, chemicals that our bodies are not able to process. They weren't made to digest certain preservatives, if not all preservatives, actually. And then learning about pesticides, and there's so much out there to educate yourself on nutrition, and that's what I did. And so I wanted to be better and started natural, and it was easy. The shift was easy. So for example, I loved one of my favorite foods. I can't even call it a food, but it was Doritos. I love Doritos, and I couldn't imagine my life without them. And just one day I stopped eating it. And I remember even trying, like, I think there's an organic version of it, but those don't even taste good. And I tried that a few years back, and I don't even want it anymore. And so my point in sharing my story with you, and some of it, is that let go of what you think you need to eat, what you shouldn't. Dieting is not ever going to really effectively help you to lose weight and keep it off. But what will is growing in love, seeking God, spending time in meditation, and growing in your spirit, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I mentioned reading the Bible, and I love Yeshua. I love Jesus because he gave us the blueprint in how to live the best human life. And so it's not about religion, but it absolutely is about learning, the qualities and the character that can enable us to also have and live our best lives. And I think of just in stories in the Bible about Jesus and him eating with the apostles, they never talked about let's indulge and overindulge. And it was always about moderation. So remember that. Don't deny yourself what you and your body wants. Honor what it wants. Keep in mind that water is essential to our bodies, because that's one of the things that I have drank for a long time, many years, is I have always been a good water drinker. I stopped drinking soda many, many years ago. That was one of the first ways I lost weight when I was in my 20s, probably way back then. And I just rarely drink anything other than tea and water, and on occasion I'll have coffee with milk and cream, because that's my favorite. And I only have that when my body wants it. So I don't deny myself. Even to this day, if my body wants some chocolate, I'll have some chocolate. But the cool thing is that I haven't had chocolate in the form of a chocolate bar. I'm not talking about cacao or cacao powder, because I've had some of that. and a little bit of cocoa powder. But I haven't had like a traditional chocolate bar or candy in months. So, and I haven't craved it. So just know it's possible to lose weight and grow in your spiritual walk and put God first. That's really is the diet to success in attaining your best body, is growing in love, knowing you're connected to source, and everything else will fall into place. And if you want to lose weight, just set the intention and pray that you want it to be easy and effortless. And you want to be fit, and you want to be strong, and you want to be comfortable in your clothes. And when you set those intentions in prayer and you release it and let go and go about your day, you'll see some amazing miracles happen in your life. And one of the miracles that happened for me is that I didn't like to work out. I mentioned that earlier in the video, and let me tell you that I'm way more mindful about it. I found some videos on YouTube that I really enjoy, that are fun, and I move my body because it is fun for me today. And I'm not regimented. I don't do it X times a week, but I am pretty consistent. I shoot for at least one time a week, but sometimes I'm better than I am. On some weeks when I don't feel like it, I honor my body and I don't exercise. But then there are other weeks that I feel more energized and I'll do it multiple times in a week. So be gentle with yourself. Judge yourself less. Don't judge yourself at all, but you got to start somewhere. Turn down the volume of the critical thoughts and not thinking you're beautiful, because you are absolutely stunningly beautiful, exactly as you are. You don't have to lose weight to be beautiful, because you already are. That was worth repeating. So I hope this inspires you to trust that you are in the physical body, the temple that is exactly as it is supposed to be at this time in your life. And as you grow in love, you may start seeing some shifting in your physical temple that houses your spirit.